You had the idea, okay, I'm gonna do this web design company. Did you know you could do it? Like, you knew you absolutely could be successful with this, or did you have some doubt?
I always research in order to cancel out doubt, because if you got logical proof, then it's hard for you to have doubt. So I did my research. I realized web design, you can make a lucrative career even if you don't scale to a big business. A solo web designer can do well. So I never had that doubt. It was just really a decision I needed to make. I got into this accident. It was terrible, and I'm like, I'm taking a step back from business. September hit, and I'm like, you know what, everything is starting to align with me, like line up for me. Like, I'm realizing I really just looked left from what God was giving me. David's son reached out to me. He was like, hey, we're honoring you for this this award. And I start focusing again on business full time, and I quit my job quick. Like, when I make decisions, it's like, I don't care if you ain't gonna hire me again. The same day, a prior client reached out to me, told me she was having problems with her website, helped her out. Another client, I got a meeting with her soon about her website. So it was things I needed to take care of within that time gap. I took a step back. God never told me to take a step back.
Yeah.
And that was a reminder, like, you gotta keep going.
What's good, y'all? What's poppin'? My name is Selah. I'm the host of the Champions Club podcast. And so today, man, we are here with my homie, man, Qwamaine, and I'm really excited to have this dude on the show. He is the owner of Quality Sizing, the website experts. He's a 24-year-old entrepreneur out here doing his thing. I've been following his journey for a very, very long time. At this point, he won the Sons of David's Young Entrepreneur of the Year award at only 24. He is currently in the process of getting his bachelor's degree in psychology. And so, man, this is just a young, powerful dude, man of God, most importantly, man of faith. And so I've been following his journey. I'm really excited for you guys to tap into his knowledge and his wisdom when it comes to running a web design agency. So, man, Qwamaine, bro, man, appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show, man. I appreciate you, dog.
For sure, it's a pleasure being on.
Yeah, so first and foremost, man, congratulations to all your success, big dog, because I remember meeting you at Louis Shine's event. He had like a panel for business owners, and I remember that you was there.
Yeah.
And that's when we met, and I remember you gave me, I believe it was a card for Quality Sizing. And so I know you said you did website design. So from that point, I went to like check out your work, followed you on Facebook, and I just started like really watching your content, especially on Instagram, where I had seen that you had started the Quality Sizing podcast, man. And I really loved how your structure was, it was more like faith-based. And so, man, I've been following your journey, and I just want to say, man, this podcast is really to bring a spotlight to people who are really doing good, man, and like making waves in the industry, and you've been doing just that. And so a lot of times, you know, we don't give credit and flowers to people until they're established and they already up there. This is not what this is about. The reason it's called the Champions Club is because I bring people on who I believe, you know, they're really overcoming stuff and adversity and battling through things, and then they come here, they share their story and motivate others. So, bro, I'm really excited to tap into everything that you got to tap into. So starting off, the Quality Sizing, the website experts, what made you want to take that direction into getting into web design? Did you previously have experience, or is this just something that you just kind of picked up and you liked it from there?
So it's interesting, actually. So Quality Sizing wasn't established until actually last year, 2024. Yeah, 2024 at December 19th, around that time, when it was fully established. But before that, I was running 2024 the entire year. Before December hit, I was running Quality Sizing as an experiment. So it was a full-on marketing agency. I had everything. We were doing photography, videography, email marketing, graphic design, website management, and meta advertisement. And instantly I realized, like, don't get me wrong, the marketing was great. I was pulling on clients. It was easy getting clients on. But I realized I couldn't scale because it's so many, I'm using so many different, I don't know what to call it, different services. I'm gonna just say that. Different services and different focuses, when each one of those own focuses have their own level of expertise. Like, you got to become an expert at each one. So I was like, I'm low key gonna fail at scaling this. It's just too much, like literally. So when 2024 hit, December hit, I was already thinking like, okay, I'm gonna niche down to websites. And I didn't actually pull that card until like July, I wanna say, around that time, July, it hit me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus in on websites. And to answer your question, my expertise in website building is nothing professional. Like I remember my first design class was in high school. My senior year of high school, I took computer science, and we had to design a website with code. And I was actually catching on really quickly because I'm like, as long as I know where to find the code at, then I can just put it in the right spot. But then over time, I'm like, oh, they got web builders like Wix, WordPress, and I just start playing around with it because I was building my own businesses. Like I owned the photography business for over 5 years. Yeah, I was photography for over 5 years, and it taught me like how to build websites, how to do all of that stuff. Then I had people coming up to me asking if I know how to do them things. So it's like, okay, I see this as an important niche. A lot of business owners need this. People suck at technology, so it's like this is a win-win. And yeah, I just went all in with it. And I knew I needed to eventually niche down, especially if I wanted to scale. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just sacrifice it all and just focus in on website design specifically.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, bro, because, man, I really get inspired because, like we just talked, you're 24, I'm 26. Young entrepreneurs stepping out and really doing a thing, because I feel like back in the day, like with our parents, they felt like you couldn't own a business in your 20s. You had to be 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever.
I feel you.
So, like what was the mindset that you had in starting a business as a young person, and being a young entrepreneur? Like, kind of walk me through that mindset that you had, that hey, I actually can go start a business. And you don't necessarily, we might not, like when I started my business, I didn't even know how to pay my bills for real, for me to try to start a business.
I feel you.
So like kind of walk through that, man, for anybody that's young and that's watching that want to own a business. What was your mindset when you went through that process?
So starting out, it was all just creativity. Like I was a photographer before I even touched and got into business. And before photography, or while I was a photographer, I always worked. I worked like since I was 16, or 17, I always had a job. I was always working. Sometimes I had 2 jobs, and it was literally just because I wanted money to buy things that I liked. So it wasn't like it was forced on me. I was just like, I'm tired of asking my parents for stuff, so I'm gonna just get it myself. And when it comes to like me, when I'm spending my time in places, I focus on things heavily. So I'm focusing on like their process, and I'm focusing on customer service. I'm focusing on the values of the business. And I realized like God is doing this for a reason. It's a reason I'm learning from all of these jobs. God must want me to create my own. And then that's when I start getting the visions of like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create this. I always knew I was gonna be wealthy and rich. I just never knew how. And God put on my heart when I was a photographer, like I can make money from this, because people started just like throwing money at me to take pictures. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And I realized I was making more money per hour than I would make at a job. And I'm like, the logic ain't adding up to me. Like now it's not really making sense to me to have a job if I can spend less time making more money. So that thought came to my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going in on business. So I went to college. I was at IU Bloomington at first, and this was actually when I dropped out of college. When I decided to drop out, it was that same notion. I realized like I'm going to college just to get a good job when I have a skill set that I can do now to make that same amount of money. So while I was down there, I was getting booked for a lot of like events. A lot of clubs and organizations knew who I was. A lot of students knew who I was. So I was just going crazy, taking pictures, doing photo shoots, and my work was always like top tier. Like I don't play when it comes to art. I love art. Like I love everything about art: composition, the color, the lighting, everything about it. So I'm creating masterpieces, and people are memorizing these pictures, and they're asking me, can I create the same thing at the same places? Because that's just how good it looks. Like I know I did a shoot for the AKAs, and it was like on this stairwell. It wasn't even my idea, but the pictures were so great. Other people, like clubs and organizations, were like, can we do our pictures there? Graduates were asking the same, just that same location, because of the art aspect of it. But it showed me that I can get paid just from getting lost in the art of things. And over time, I started learning the structure of a business. This was when, this is going back for real, but so while I was doing that, like I said, I dropped out of college. And during that time, I was full on photography. Then I got a job, and then I ended up quitting the job because I'm like, I can't do this. I'm spending so much time working, and I can make more money at the same amount of time. And I got into day trading, so it was a complete shift. And I don't mean to get so off topic from web design. It's just I have a lot of, like, I did a lot of things. And when I was in day trading, I blew my account. A lot went left, and I had to leave Bloomington. Otherwise, I would have been homeless. And Yeah, I had to leave and move in with my parents and kind of start from scratch.
All right, so you know what? For me personally, I think this is really what the Champions Club is about, bro. You talking about these struggles and battling through that. In my eyes, bro, you a champion because even though you went through those losses, now at 24, you just won a business award for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. You know what I mean? So it's certain things that you had to go through in your past and like accomplish, like winning the challenges
I feel you.
to become who you was to be a Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Everybody don't win that award. I ain't win that award. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like it's something special about your story and your background that I do feel like people do need to hear, because when you start in a business, a lot of times, like when we see on social media and we see on YouTube and stuff like that, they make it seem like it's strawberries and flowers, bro.
Yeah,
This
nah,
ain't.
it's work.
It's work.
hard
You know
work.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay. So at this point, you move back in with your parents and kind of walk me through when you had the idea, okay, I'm going to do this web design company. Did you
Yeah.
know you could do it? Like you knew you absolutely could be successful with this, or did you have some doubt?
So that goes back into when I decided to niche down.
Yeah.
Everything I do requires research as well. So I always research in order to cancel out doubt, because if you got logical proof, then it's hard for you to have doubt. So I did my research. I realized web design, you can make a lucrative career even if you don't scale to a big business. A solo web designer can do well. So I never had that doubt. It was just really a decision I needed to make.
So, okay. So walk me through this, bro. If I was a person on my couch watching this podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm loving what you're saying, and I feel like it's in my spirit to go start a web design company or a marketing agency,
Yeah.
what would be my first steps?
So first, it would be to decide. So if you want to be in a website design industry, be specific about it. Know that that's what you want to do. If you want to do marketing, be specific about it. And also, I recommend don't do what I do. I guess depending on the time that you're trying to spend doing it, if you have a lot of time available, then do it. Test out a lot of different marketing specialties and then decide which one aligns with you the best. But if you already know what you want to do, if you're already saying website design, just tap into website design. And from there, educate yourself. Nothing matters but for you to become the best website designer out there. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Unless you are a, what do they call them? I forgot, but unless you have money, pretty much, unless you're rich and you're just investing into a new company or buying a new company and you plan
Like
on
an
scaling
investor?
it, yeah,
Okay.
and you plan on scaling it to a point where you're not really hands-on in it, that's different. But if you're like from me and you're going 0 to 100, then I recommend becoming the best in that field. Or if you decide marketing, become the best in marketing. That's all that matters is education for that first part.
Man, I think those words is powerful, dog, because there's a saying called "the riches is in the niches,"
Yeah.
right? And so really what that means is like, bro, if you wanna make a lot of money, like you need to niche down into a certain discipline or skill.
Yeah, that's true.
And the way I explain it to people, like, general doctors make general money. You can go in and they'll diagnose you with something, but they're gonna send you to a specialist. If you got a heart problem, they're gonna send you to a specialist. You got
Yeah.
a brain problem, they're gonna send you to a brain specialist. A lung problem, you go to a lung specialist. The specialists make a lot of money, right? And so basically, man, niching down is pretty much the way to go if that's really what you're good at, and focus on that one thing. And I really love that, because I feel like right now there's a shift that's happening in marketing that's in our area in Northwest Indiana, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When I started doing marketing sales, this was May of 2019. So you had a lot of marketing companies. Like right now we're in LaPorte. Bro, there's only 2 marketing companies in LaPorte.
Oh, wow.
When I started, it was only one, and I worked for that one, right? And so just like you said, they offered a bunch of services. All these marketing companies started popping up roughly around the same time, and because people were only going to the big companies that was in Chicago, right? And so they started opening up their own marketing companies, but they offered a bunch of different services. They ain't good at all of them, right? And so what I'm seeing now is, just like yourself, people are starting to hit the brakes, and they're starting to say, all right, why burn myself out and trying to master all these different services when really I can start doing what I'm good at, or doing what my coach says and you're operating in your area of genius,
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
And so, shout out Rachel L. Gary, hashtag Poverty Six Figures. So, basically, I see companies now, instead of saying they're marketing agencies, we're a web design agency, right? Which is what you are, right? Like the quality sizing, your company is web design agency. I'm
Yeah.
starting to see companies saying we're a video marketing agency. So that lets me know they're marketing through video. Like
Yeah.
this is really what they're good at. And so if you're not good at all these services, you don't have to sell them all.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
have to be
true.
a one-stop shop.
That's true.
So if you're really good at ads, like you said, if you're really good at marketing, say you're a marketing agency, but we specialize in only Google ads and Facebook ads. Because like if you're trying to do all these other stuff, 9 times out of 10, you don't have a workflow for it.
Yeah.
And then when you do get it, you actually not quoting the way you're supposed to be quoting because you don't work those projects often. So now you're over here scrambling. So like I think is really spot on what you're saying. The riches is in the niches. So next question that I have for you, bro, like in terms of sales and obtaining these clients, if I'm like, trying to go from 0 to 100, like you said, what are some of the best strategies to use to start trying to obtain specifically like website clients?
That's a great question, bro. So when it comes to sales, and this is more universal,
Yeah.
when it comes to sales, I always say focus on volume. Focus on how many people you are selling to. What do I mean by that? So let's say you have a strategy. Your strategy is, I usually say it's the core 4 or actually 5 because you got cold calling, you have warm calling, you have door-to-door sales, you have I consider advertising, even though that's more marketing. That's one I consider as well. And
So
then,
you mean what these are as lead generation strategies?
yeah, yeah.
Dope.
And
Okay.
then word of mouth. So depending on what you're selling, it's a whole process to things. But let's say website design, for example. So when you sell website design, you literally could just go up to them and say, hey, I sell websites. Do you need a website? Or just walk up to them and say, do you need a website? And I'm talking about door to door, by the way, but ask them like, do you need a website? Let's say they say yes, can we schedule a meeting? Da da da. Y'all go to the meeting. That meeting, you get a sign in. So that's the process. That's the strategy. Now, the strategy, how you test a strategy is you test it with 100 people. Yes, 100 people. I'm talking about
Yeah.
100
Not
people.
99,
not
yeah,
20,
100.
not 10, not 5. Because what we do often is, especially with cold calling, what we do is cold call 5 businesses, and I'm guilty of it, and instantly give up. Like, this ain't working because it's hard. It is hard work. But if you focus on a large volume, you get a real probability. Like,
Right.
if you get 100, if you do 100 and you close 10, for me and my business, that would be a win.
Right.
In 1 month, trying to reach my revenue goal. That's a win. But let's say you close like 2 or 3, or let's say more of this. Always set a revenue goal for your sales strategy. If that probability does not hit that revenue goal, then try a new strategy with the same volume. So your goal is always to sell to 100 people, but it's just testing new strategies to come across the best strategy.
Dope. So what's so crazy is because what y'all don't understand, the game Qwamaine is dropping right now. Really what he's talking about is the law of averages.
Yeah.
The law of averages states if you do something long enough, you do something a certain amount of times, you will get the results that you want. And so in sales, they'll say it's a numbers game. So, if we ask 10 people, and then 10 people or 9 people say no, you close 1 out of 10. But what I think is really great about what you said is the volume, like do it 100 times, is because you get better.
Yeah,
You get better at pitching. You get better at, overcoming objections. You get better at reading the room, right? Like if you go on like B2B, like you're saying, like you go business to business. Sometimes, like I remember when I was a sales rep, bro, I'll walk up to a desk, right? And if there was a person behind me, I would actually let that person go first.
Oh, that's genius.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, cause then I'm trying to sell, and when they realize, cause it takes 2.5 seconds to know that I'm trying to sell them something.
Yeah.
So then when I go over there and I'm pitching, and it's a person behind me, they go, "Hey, I got a customer." Now you're out. So I'll be like, "Hey, no, man, go ahead, you can go." And then now they ain't got nobody, and so now I can go in and I get a little bit more time. But it took a while for me to learn that. So that's why I love that you give them that game, because volume is a real thing. So not only, you gotta learn to get that thick skin, but you getting better each rep.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So and staying on sales, bro. Like, what's your success like in terms of like going B2B or cold calling? I mean, what's it looking like out there for you, bro? Because I know that like the sales part ain't easy.
Oh, it's not. So my number one thing is definitely B2B. I always like walking in places, and I like people to acknowledge me. And I actually like meeting people. So I'm going meeting people, meeting these business owners, and instead of treating it like a sale, what I do is really like build relationships, and I also really listen. Like when you selling something, it's not about talking, it's about listening and then hearing their problems and then being a solution to their problem, because that's what entrepreneurship is about as a whole. But yeah, it's B2B, showing up as
Yeah.
myself, dressed as myself, and just
Yeah.
popping up and building relationships and getting sales.
So let me ask you a question, bro. When you doing your B2B, and you talked about like the listening part and the sales skills. If you want to start a web design agency, sales is going to be a huge part.
That's true.
Of you generating leads, right? And that's for any business. Do you feel like you need sales experience to get started in this? Do you need to have some form of sales, or can you be that person that just kind of, you flying a plane while you building a plane and kind of learn as you go?
So honestly, I don't think you need experience, and I feel like you know that as well, because especially being in that field, getting that much value for that company. But it's always a learning process. Like no matter what, if you're going into entrepreneurship, if you're starting by yourself, you're gonna have to learn all these functions anyway, because you're solopreneur unless you got money.
That's true.
You have no choice but to learn sales. So you just got to go out there and go for a risk. The truth is, the risk of sales is literally just your ego.
That's good.
You
bro.
chasing a nose, and I had a sales coach, and she was just like, go for the nose. Actually, track how many no's you're getting. Go for 100 no's intentionally, because our mind is so set on the negative things that we instantly assume that we're always going to get a no, when probability plays a role in this overall. So like, no matter what you focus on, the truth is only gonna happen if you go and do it.
Wow.
So your doubt ain't gonna it's not in your favor.
That's what's up, bro. And so now I'm gonna ask you this too, and like staying in the sales side of things, like you said, really listening to people's problem.
Yeah.
And so right now, at least and I know for when I was selling the websites, like some people might say, "Hey, man, I already have a website. Why would I need another website?" Right? And so that makes the sale a little bit harder. So, if I was a person that's going out there and trying to sell websites, how could I try to sell a website to a person who already have one?
All right, so there's multiple ways of doing this. So one thing I offer as one of my services is website audits. So I go into their website and see like how their website is built. Most likely their websites be trash. I'm gonna be real. I'm not trying to be rude.
Yeah,
but
you ain't lying.
A lot of businesses, they've been in business for a minute, so they haven't touched their website in years. So that's one of the reasons. Sometimes they get BS developers or website designers who just wanted a quick buck, or who created that website at that time frame. So if you got a website from 2017, or not 2017, let's say 2007, it's not necessarily it's a bad website. It was just a good website at its time. Like now we evolving, so it's always evolving. You can always get better. It's just creating an audit or analysis and focalizing on things to them.
Yeah, and I feel like educating a buyer too is probably like because I know for a long time, like when they're like, man, I already got a website and stuff, and we talked about like the website builders, and we can get into your preference too, because that's why I love this conversation, because we can get so deep. We can talk about the sales, we can talk about the marketing, we can talk about the technological side, but you got Wix and Weebly, they don't own those. Right, so I remember I would turn it into, I remember we talked to on the phone about this, like turning it into a math problem. Like, all right, hey, are you 100% happy with it on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, they probably be like, no matter what they say, I'm gonna be like, why isn't it a 10, or why isn't it? Because with a lot of platforms, there's gonna be something that bugs people.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna say, why isn't it an X, Y, or Z? And I'm like, well, listen, man, how much did you pay for it initially? I was $89 a month, and I built it myself, and I had it for 5 years. Okay, cool. Now, if you ever cancel, it goes away, so you don't even have it. So it's $89 a month times 5 years plus your hosting. I give that number to them and say, this is how much you spent, and you really don't even love it like that. So if you have actually spent the 3 to 5 or whatever $8,000 into an actual website, you build it one time, you can take it wherever you want. Like, you start making it a math problem for them, and then also you're educating the buyer at that point. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
for me, it's like trying to sell somebody a house when they already got a house. You're selling somebody a car when they already got one.
Yeah.
Right. And so just finding those angles, and I think what you said about listening to them and try to figure out like what the problem is, that really is the key. So that he giving y'all game. You know, y'all just got to pick it up. And so like, let's get into the money part. So I know you said that it's very lucrative, and it can be
Yeah.
lucrative. So on average, how, from what you said, because I've been on the game for a minute, what are you seeing as far as like the starting price for a website, and then you know like what's the ranges looking like for the money side of things, so people can really start grasping how lucrative it is to own a web agency, a web design agency.
All right. So, truthfully speaking, a web agency per client for a new website, you will see typically it ranges from, like, my prices, for example, range from 900 to 5,000, and it just depends on what they need. Like if they need a extremely custom website with certain software integrations, or if they just need a basic 3-page website that's like home, about, and contact. So it just depends on the intention of the client.
So when now let me ask you this: do you feel like a website nowadays is still a powerful resource for a business owner to have? You know, we got all the social media stuff and like content creation. So how do you feel about like a website using that for a business? Do you still like it's like it still holds the same weight as it used to?
Yeah, so people get the wrong idea about websites. People think it's just about marketing, it's just a brand presence, but websites actually it's part of your operations too. So what a lot of people don't know, I actually worked with What's Poppin' Gourmet Popcorn and Italian Ice out in Illinois, Alsip, Illinois. And she always did in-person transactions. So when I created her website, I allowed a whole customer experience where they can order, pick up popcorn, and they can order delivery popcorn. So that expanded her range for her audience, and it also allowed her to take in transactions 24 hours. While she was knocked out, she was still getting purchases online. And she told me it was an increase in her revenue and an increase in awareness of her brand as well. But despite all of that, a website also serves as a home base, as an operations level, and as a marketing level. So when you have social media, you usually have multiple platforms. It's usually multiple ways you meet people, like through phone numbers, through text, through in-person networking events. You want a major lead for them. You want like this, I call like websites the home base, because it's like the major destination you want to lead your audience to. So no matter where you're pulling them from, you want them to gather here. And that's why I love websites that got like built-in communities, because those are really loyal customers and a really loyal audience coming to that website to actually be active in that community. So websites can serve a huge role in like operations and marketing, but people don't usually have a vision for it unless like they hear about it or they see it for themselves.
Yeah, that, bro. I think you're right, bro. What's so crazy is because it is like that, the major landing spot.
Yeah.
You know, and so like for me, yeah, you have social media and those things, right? But I feel like, you know, when you do have a website, bro, you also gonna have SEO value. You're showing up on Google.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're a local business, now you got a Google My Business listing that can have a website link attached to it. You know, it does add credibility. It is a sense of information. But I think the problem with a lot of times is like people's website is online business cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not a website.
Yeah,
That's not a website.
You know, just I got my
the
information.
the link tree thing, that's not a website.
Yeah, well, yes, so now people are trying to do the link tree for social media, and really, what that does is confuses people, because which link am I supposed to go to? And so when you talk about being a good marketer, marketers know like you need to KIS. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when I got a call to action, and my call to action is visit this link and visit this link and visit this link and visit this link. No, I don't want you to really do that. I really want you to pay me.
Yeah.
So what I need you to do is I need you to go to my website and look up on my services, and then book or pay or, you know, schedule that appointment. So you spot on when you talk about the importance of websites, because I feel like, you know, if you watching at home and you trying to get a website, web design agency, and you feel like maybe it's not that important, man, McDonald's got a website.
Yeah.
Nike got a website. If it wasn't important, the big people wouldn't have it. You know, so a lot of small businesses.
And it's really, my bad.
No, you good, bro. Go ahead.
It's really only a upgrade for your business. It's literally no downgrade to a website.
Yeah. What's the bad side?
Yeah.
Like, what's the downside?
Like I had my first client I ever had. It was a full-on marketing company, but she got a website with her package. She was already doing like millions in revenue and over that. And I decided to make her website for that package, and since then, her clients were able to reach out to her through the website. They didn't have a way to contact her except for calls. So imagine that as a business owner, she's in home health, and you're just missing all these calls from these clients. It's really essential that they get their voice heard. So her website allowed her to build community. It allowed her to direct her clients questions and concerns and prospects as well, because she wasn't listed on Google. So that also, like you mentioned, listed her on Google, and she's the top ranked for her not her niche, but her name, of course, and part of her niche. She at the part of the top when you search it.
Dope, bro, dope. And so, man, I'm gonna shift this real quick because I want to talk about the success that you've been having. So obviously, you know a lot about websites and you know about the sales side of things, which is crazy because you mentioned the cold calling, bro, and that's not easy.
It's not.
Right?
I'm gonna be real, man. I tapped out quick. Like, I'm going in person because he's they call them gatekeepers.
That's exactly what they be doing, ain't it? They be keeping that gate strong. So, but you've been able to have success, meaning that you've been able to overcome some of these challenges, bro.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, how did it feel winning the Sons of David's Young Entrepreneur of the Year award? And then what did that mean to all your hard work and the dedication that you put into your business?
Man, surprisingly, it meant a lot because in August, I took a step back from business. So previously, in July 23rd, I got in an accident. It was a terrible accident, but at that same time, I was also onboarded into this new job position. So I got into this accident. It was terrible, and I'm taking a step back from business. And amidst that, it was like the 11th of August, I believe, David's son reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, we're honoring you for this award, this Young Entrepreneurship Award." I was not expecting anything that month. Mind you, I'm like dead serious. Like, I'm not even looking at business. I'm not thinking it. And I received this award, and it's why I was like an employee. So I was working a 9 to 5 and everything. And then September hit, and I'm like, you know what? Everything is starting to align with me, like line up for me. Like, I'm realizing I really just looked left from what God was giving me. God gave me freedom already. I don't know why I chase slavery again. And I'm not saying work is slavery, but when it's out of your intention, that is slavery. If you're doing it to meet certain numbers and you're not really reaching for the passion that God gives you, that's slavery to me. That's my mindset. But I had looked away from it, and I started focusing again on business full time. And I quit my job quick. Like, when I make decisions, it's like, I don't care if you ain't gonna hire me again.
Yeah.
I know I did my part, and I'm a good person, so they know it's not coming from wicked intent. So yeah, I just quit and I went back full-time business. That same day, a prior client reached out to me, told me she was having problems with her website, helped her out. Another client, I got a meeting with her soon about her website. So it was things I needed to take care of within that time gap. So that award is more than just a prize. It's more of like, at that time I received it, even in August when I received it, it was during that time because I took a step back. God never told me to take a step back.
Yeah.
And that was a reminder, like, you got to keep going. You don't got a choice but to keep going.
Yeah. You know what, man? And so I really love that because a lot of times, bro, life do be lifing.
It does.
Like this year, for me personally, I know it might not seem like it because I put stuff on social, but I also had to take a step back from business because I had my kids with me. Like we were paying $1,800 a month for daycare, but we still need my income. We still need my wife's income, so we can't necessarily quit our jobs.
I understand.
So my kids was with me at home all the time, And so in a way, I had to focus on my girls opposed to generating leads and all the other stuff. So my foldable business did take a major hit from that, but it is something that's like it's a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Like you saying that you took that step away from business. I'm pretty sure that you learned a lot about yourself and you took that time for yourself. But then to receive that award it's like, man, you know what? I do really want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is really what I want to do. And so like, and I remember seeing the Facebook post, because that happened a few days after our podcast that we did together, And so I was like, man, and I reached out to you and I'm glad that you're doing all right. But like, bro, I'm glad to see that happened to you because now I know you about to come back stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact that since you got that award and you got clients coming to you, that is a sign that this is what you're supposed to be doing, bro.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm proud of you for just having the vision for that and having that discernment. You know what I mean? To be like, all right, hey, this is the path. Because when you say you drop jobs like that, hey,
Left and
you
right,
make your
man.
decision. Hey, I wanted to laugh harder than what I laughed because in a sense I'm the same way. When I made that decision,
Yeah.
it ain't no no alternative, no alternate decision. That is the decision, bro.
Yeah.
And so like I'm just really proud and I'm really excited to see the journey from this point because, bro, you've been an inspiration. So, because like I said, I watch a lot of your content, and it's like, bro, you just keep chucking along, man. You keep chucking along, and you keep dropping stuff, and it's like, dude, you not letting stuff stop you, and you seem focused. And I think that's the big thing, not only as an entrepreneur, but as a young entrepreneur. We always ready to drop what we're doing if we're not seeing results or something and go chase something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for a while, man, one time I was selling hemp and then I was selling cars. But then every time you do that, you lose credibility.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the fact that you are niching down, dude, you're doubling down on your credibility.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for your journey, bro. Cause I ain't gonna lie, Qwamaine, man. You on your way, bro. You on your way, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Likewise.
Most definitely,
God
dog.
is working. Like all glory to Him for real. But like focus, like when you mentioned it, focus. So how I focus on focus, it's very spiritual. And it's very
how he
scientific.
focus on focus. That's a bar. How he focus on focus. Okay, continue.
But on a spiritual and scientific level, we can only be one place at one time, except unless we're with God, who is everywhere with us because He hears everything. But really hear me when I say this. We only can be in one place at one time. We're only where we're looking at because all of our time is dedicated to that most of the time. So let's say we're on the phone, we're on Instagram. It's called a social media platform for a reason. Our eyes are landing on a platform and we're spending time there. Even though we're not physically there, we're fully stimulated in that one space for a long amount of time. So the same amount of time you may spend on there, if you spend 3 hours on there, that's just like spending 3 hours in a cafe or at a bar because you're spending time there. Nothing else matters. And it's already been proven that we can't multitask. So we literally can't do two things at a time. So for me, that's one of the reasons I niche down too, because you really have to focus on one thing at a time. And at that center of the focus, Christ always has to be the foundation of that to receive that blessing for the passion He focused you on or He have you focused on. So when it comes to focus, I focus a lot on time, my environment, and just being intentional. It's hard for me to get distracted unless I intentionally make myself get distracted. But
Dude, I think that's dope because that's actually where I wanted to go next because I love how like it is your business and you're like how you move is faith-based.
yeah,
Right. So for the faith-based entrepreneurs out there, man, how do you balance being like walking with God and that faith part, and then also the business side of things too? Because I feel like this is something that happens to me because I run the photo booth business. I don't make it to church on Sundays every Sunday, right?
I understand.
And so like I'm like, man, it's tough doing the business thing and trying to be the faith thing. But when I see you do it, I'm like, man, ain't really no excuse. Right. So how do you balance that, man? And then like how does that help you steer the ship for your business?
So, like I mentioned, I'm really good at focus. And going back to like when I was choosing a niche of website design, a lot of research came to play. I had to realize like, okay, why do I really want to choose website design? Because I'm a great photographer. I get a lot of word of mouth from photography. A lot of people love my photography, but God told me website design because I don't have to be there physically.
Right.
So
Right.
I catch myself the best times I spend with God is alone in solitude, and a lot of people don't agree with that. I understand, but website design allows me to have that solitude. Like if when I master things, I do it very quickly. So it's no longer taking like days to create a website. I can create it like probably in a couple hours, and then tell my client, hey, the turnaround time is X amount of time, just because that builds a certain reaction when you receive things at a certain time. But yeah, I just really God is actually the reason I'm doing it. I like to look at it like that too. That's why I say I like to be in solitude usually when I'm spending time with Christ. And in order to be in solitude with Christ for majority of my day, I have to be in business. You get what I'm saying? Because otherwise, I'm still with Christ when I'm at work and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but my intention is getting directed from Christ. I got to do things. Maybe I have to. I get called like. My last job, like I always had to focus on the kids. So I worked with kids with autism. I'm in the field of psychology, and it was called RBT, Registered Behavior Technician. And it literally required me to have eyes on this kid 24/7. I had to run these programs and everything, and make sure they're increasing in certain behaviors and tasks. I didn't have time like to literally just zone out, pray, speak to God, because my attention had to always be in focus. Now, website design is different because I don't have to focus first off on a living person, so I'm not responsible for what happens to them. And instead, I'm focusing on a computer, something that I have more control over. And all I got to do is create something. And then once I create that thing, I have time to myself. And when I'm learning and when I'm creating, it's usually meditation for me anyway. So
That's right.
I'm spending time with the Lord, giving me ideas and stuff while I'm just doing what I
That's
love.
dope, bro. Man, bro, I'm getting goosebumps because you it's like you working from the Lord.
Yeah,
And you
that's my
working
pool.
for the Lord, with the Lord. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is dope, bro. And so, where did this faith come from? Did you grow up in a church? Did you just kind of find Jesus on your own? Like, kind of walk me through that, bro.
Man, God always found a way to get in my face, though.
Okay.
Like, man, it's been time. Like of course I had a rebellious stage like in 2020 when I was away in college. I could never let go of God.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
Did that come from like young? Did your parents raise you up in a church? Or
So yeah, church always been a part of my life. It was more with my godparents. I went to church a lot. They did their job as godparents, introduced me to God.
Yeah.
But growing up, the thing about my godmother is she didn't have any kids. So I was like almost her spiritual child. So she prayed on something like that, like prayed on a kid. And I came, even though I wasn't her biological kid, I was still in her life. And she treated me as such. She treated me as a biological mother, I ain't gonna lie. And they always had me in front of Christ. Not only that, they were saved. Her sister, my other godmom, her name is Yolanda, she was saved. I was always at her church. And then despite just that, growing up with my parents, my father, stepfather, my granddad, he always took us to church. And it was kind of weird because, so my godparents, they're go to church on Sunday. I forgot what denomination exactly, but my grandfather was Seventh-day Adventist, so I had to go to church on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I had to learn a lot of discipline from that Seventh-day Adventist church on top of already being close to God from my godparents' side. And it was always like an important part of my life. Even though I always got in the feeling like, oh, I'm tired of doing this. You know how we get the flesh, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
God always showed me like he's the blessing. Like God is really the treasure that we're all seeking. And every time I tried to walk away, he always found his way back in my face and always guided me to the success he has for me.
So do you feel like God can grow your business?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, because like for me, I go to church, faith-based as well, and I'm like, man, God, I need some money, man. What's going on? And so do you feel like, is it more like you pray and then he deliver? Or is it like you just keep doing the work and then he blesses you? Like from your experience, man, how has that been?
So no matter what, I'm not the type of person to pray and just sit there. And it's not me saying I want to be in control. It's simply, I understand as the title of our podcast, Faith with Works.
Yeah.
You got to work on top of your faith. Unfortunately, part of that work is serving. We have to serve God. We have to go around and minister. We have to you don't have to be a part of a church, but I recommend it just because as you're getting closer to Christ, it's very hard to find communities who are doing the same. It's very hard to find people who are not toxic, who are not out partying, especially in our age group. Like people are usually outside and following pop culture. So what church does is it allows for a community that actually everybody's reaching for Christ. Everybody's trying to change. Everybody's trying to go through the transformation. Everybody is saved. And being around those people is just it's filled with love.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just serving from Christ allows me to be the best at what I'm doing. For example, I'm the photographer at my church. I can be the best photographer. I don't care about a dime. It's just like I can just let my craft go crazy.
But you doing that in serving as well.
Yeah, because I'm serving the best God.
Yeah,
so it's like I want to do my best for the best. And I realize God is worth making time for. So like you said, how do you balance that out with business and stuff? If God is the reason I'm doing it for business, then I got to sacrifice some days. For example, Sunday, especially growing up Seventh-day Adventist, when I had to shift to Sunday, it was like, it was an odd shift to me, but I realized God did this for a reason because the pastor's my God brother. There's no way these alignments are made if God didn't want me on this journey. So when after prayer, going back to that, after prayer, I always work and I always make sure my work is aligned to getting more time with God and being able to have more time with his word and spend more time with him.
That's powerful. Man, look, Qwamaine, man, talking to my spirit, bro. Whoa,
Amen.
whoa, man, that's good, bro.
And that's what my bad. I chose website design too because everything else I would have had to be there for in person, except like graphic design, but I wouldn't make as much. The
Right.
return wouldn't be higher. So website design, I'm like, I could do this anywhere, literally. Just a
And get it
laptop is
popping.
all I need.
So that's actually what I'm going into next, bro. Like, let's say I'm new to web design.
Yeah.
I obtain my first client. What's the workflow and the strategies and kind of like the structure of getting that client, getting them signed on, and then like the development of the site? What does that process look like?
So marketing wise, if you're trying to make your company look good, what I recommend is creating an on-board system. Have the client sign up, have them just walk them through it, have like a login system almost under your company. After you do that, when it comes to actually designing the website, that's completely different. That's more operations. When you're doing that, you want to first go into it's Figma. You can actually outline your design. So this is when it comes to more from the creative side of you. You want to design like each page out and have it pre-designed, and have it designed based on a brand that you're selling to. So you want to have that going. Design like the outline of it, and then you want to go into the website and start implementing that design. And then after I focus on first like design, copyright, and finalization. So the
Gotcha.
design aspect is just what I talked about. After the design, you want to go into your wording. So you want to go through the words, make sure you're following a brand language, and you want to make sure everything is grammatically correct and in order. And then last is the finalization. Finalization comes in, I usually show the client their website before I actually fully publish it. I allow them to take a look and say, hey, what don't you like? What do you like? They'll let me know. I write that feedback down, and then I implement that feedback, and then we're ready, get the domain, and I publish that website. And it is important that you can take feedback, because not just website design, but you need feedback as an entrepreneur, period. But and website design, especially because this is their website. It's not your website. Your
Tell 'em,
opinion
brother. I know.
it don't matter.
Yeah.
Even if it's the best design in the world. If they say they want orange, change it orange. If it's the best blue in the world, change it orange, because
Yeah.
it's not about you. You help that client. They have a website. Now they have an online automated system for their business. That was your goal. Now if the design ugly, still push it out there.
That's bro. Okay, so that's really good information, because a lot of times, like when we designing something, we feel like it's
Yeah.
ours. You know,
I
you see
feel
what I'm
you,
saying? It ain't ours. You know.
Yeah.
And when I was doing marketing sales, you know, we would go through the website revision process, and sometimes as creatives, they feel like they know best.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not about what you know; it's about what the client is paying for.
Yeah,
And
that's
then you know, I feel like sometimes, and you might not have this problem because you're the sales rep and the designer, but a lot of times when you guys start to scale the company, some of that communication gets lost between the client talking to the sales rep, and then the sales rep extracting all that information and organizing like in an organized way, giving it to the designer so the designer can understand exactly what the client wants. Because sometimes the client is the middleman,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Or not the client, the sales rep is the middleman. You know, they
Yeah.
talk to the sales rep and blah, blah, blah. So what we started doing was website revision calls where, hey, you get on the Zoom, the designer get on the Zoom, and I'll be on the Zoom in case, you know, because sometimes a lot of creatives, and I think this is also why you're gonna do so good, because you're the sales rep and a designer, but you got personality. A lot of people that design websites, they're not the easiest people to talk to because it's
I feel
so
you.
technical minded, you know.
Yeah.
And so like it's like they don't always get all the information because they're so like techie brain. But we'll go through these website revision calls, and sometimes I have to say, hey, listen, it's their site, man. You know.
Yeah.
So like, even though you got these suggestions, they're not paying you to suggest. They're paying you to do the work.
Yeah.
And give them the site because they have a vision, and we just supposed to execute the vision.
Literally. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So, dude, I know what you mean. Like you
Yeah.
say, like, hey, bro, I know you got that orange. Let them, you know, let them do their thing, because that's really what it's about. And then what happens is, if they enjoy working with you and the process was easy,
Yeah.
and the communication was easy, sometimes they'll open up a second business and say, hey, I need a website for a second business.
Yeah, that, and then on top of that,
The
referrals.
referrals, yep.
And referrals are probably the number one. Like, it's a different type of growth. It's not connected to anything you're doing, so it's exponential. It's like an asset rolling by itself. You got random people coming in like, I need a website, and it's amazing because it be hitting out of nowhere.
Yeah. So last thing, bro. As far as like platforms that you build on, do you have a certain preference of one that you like to build on and use out of all? You know, you got the Wix, you got the Weebly, you got WordPress, you got you know, like Webflow, all that stuff. Which one did you use a lot and why?
So I started with Wix. It's simple. It's easy to catch on. I really oh, that's the way pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I just like I like how it works. But
Yeah.
I recommend like just kind of learning too. So I use Wix and WordPress now, but when I started off, it was just Wix because I realized it did everything that I needed it to do. And yeah, the back end is cold. Like it's already set up for you. You can already see transactions. You can track orders. You can connect the emails to it, social media to it. So it's like it's the all-in-one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. All right. So if there's anybody out there, they didn't got the spiritual game from you. They got the sales game from you. Some of that technical game. And they still on the edge about, you know, just taking that leap of faith and just starting. I ain't saying quit the job, just starting the business, and they still on edge, man. What would be your message to that person and your last words of encouragement in order for them to get started?
All right. That's a good question. So I would say time is your most valuable asset, as like period. That's why God wants a piece of our time. It's important how we invest our time. With that being said, time with work will create growth. So you can grow when it comes with work.
Can you say that
plus
again?
Time.
Can you say that again? Man.
Time plus work equals growth. So you can grow with that. So I just want to say, it's never going to feel like you're ready to do anything in life, but just understand that equation that I just gave you and understand that every time you decide on something, it's growing in some type of area. So if you decide even for a small amount of time to start investing in that vision that you have for yourself, it's going to start to grow. But if you're really trying to get the exponential growth, it will require sacrifice because you have to sacrifice things for more time. So if you sacrifice your job for a full-time entrepreneurship, allow yourself to be in that position where you can do so. So allow I talked to a financial advisor recently, or she on a financial company, and she mentioned have at least 3 months of business savings and at least 3 months of personal savings so that you're good, because it's a learning curve to it. Like everything ain't gonna happen quick. You gotta start investing more time to learn it. And then you gotta learn every operation of a business, every function of a business, which is sales, marketing, HR, accounting, and operations. And in order to focus on those things really in depthly, you have to have time to do so. So I would say like really just focus on that equation I gave you and understand your decisions matter. So decide really what you want and pray on it and allow God to back you on your decision.
Dog, man, that's really good. And that's powerful, man. And I think you hit everything on the head. And so, man, with that being said, bro, I really appreciate you for coming and dropping this knowledge to the audience, man. Thank you for coming on to my podcast, bro. I really, really appreciate it. And so we do a thing here. The reason it's called the Champions Club because, man, I feel like we have to stick together. You know, people that's coming up and that's doing big things out here, man, and we celebrate each other. So I want to say, bro, you're welcome to the Champions Club.
Appreciate it,
You know what
bro.
I mean? You're officially a member, man. Once a member, always a member of the Champions Club, bro. And I appreciate you, man. Let people know where they can find you if they want to contact you for any kind of website design or just to pick your brain about having a web design agency.
For sure. So on Instagram, it's Quality Sizing. That's QUALITY SIZING. It's the same on Facebook. It's the same on YouTube. And I also have a podcast, the Quality Sizing Podcast, where we talk about how entrepreneurs have gained their success through Christ. Sayla was on there. He was actually our last guest. I got to get things rolling on that. But we also have a website, so www.qualitysizing.com.
Dude, appreciate you, bro. Hey,
So,
man.
appreciate you, bro.
Congratulations, bro, on all your success, man.
Same to you, bro.
Keep it rocking, dog.
It's about to blow up, man.